This is the Make Life Rich Movement podcast with me, your host, Sara Kelly. In this movement, I invite entrepreneurs, both brand spanking new and seasoned vets, to join me in sharing their thought processes around business strategy, growth, and crafting a business that you can actually live with. In this show, I'm going to teach you step by step how to build the business of your life that you have always wanted while helping you to organize and grow with strategy. When there is strategy to be shared and learned from, you can guarantee we will cover it here in an episode. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, we craft your dream life together with interviews with some of my favorite entrepreneurs. And on Sundays, we do the Sunday strategy session, where I give you a template and your plan for the week ahead to grow your business ahead 1%. So grab your bevy of choice, my Richies, a notepad for brainstorming, settle into your comfy chair, and join me on the Make Life Rich Movement podcast. It's time to grow, my Richies.
Thank you.
Let's go.
And as always, make life rich. Hello, my Richies, and welcome back to another episode of the Sunday Strategy Sessions here on the Make Life Rich Movement podcast. My name is Sara. I'm your host. And today we're just going to catch up. It's been a couple of very busy weeks of September and October under my belt, and I still feel like summer was just around the corner, and I wasn't at all prepared for how quickly this month was going to go, let alone the month before it. So let's catch up. I'll start with what has been closest to me in happening and just kind of give you an idea of where my head's at and what I'm doing these days. But I recently was inducted as a board member for a chamber of commerce in the county where I live. Very excited about that. There's absolutely a really beautiful wave right now of younger generations coming in and working hand in hand with the older generations and those that have kind of sculpted and really grown my county into what it is with their entrepreneurship and their businesses. And it's really cool to be able to work with these businesses, be a part of the chamber, help to modernize the chamber a bit, certainly in the marketing department, since that's kind of what I do. And I'm just really looking forward to all the projects that lie ahead. It has brought me back to a part of myself that I really enjoyed tapping into with my PR work. And in Philadelphia, which was a very large city, I always managed to find pockets and smaller parts of the city that I made my home, and consequently made the businesses within that neighborhood my friends. And I would help them, work with them, and promote them, and just to keep bringing new things into the town that I lived in, helping to grow that community. And in moving back to my hometown, it's been about 3 years now, over the last year, I felt a real calling to want to get back to being involved with the community. The 2 years after we left Philadelphia, we were really focused like almost 1,000% on our personal growth and just really figuring out what we wanted, how we were going to do it. And within that time frame, for me, it was truly all hands on deck for just working on myself. And with over the last year, so 3 years into leaving here, I've just been ready for a community, and I've really been calling in with my intentions and my energy and my output of just bringing in a like-minded group of individuals that want to help others, and they want to make a difference, and they want to make a change with what they do. And man, the universe has provided. Through the chamber alone, I've already just come into contact with so many individuals that really get me fired up and remind me why I fell in love with entrepreneurship in the first place. And it was through, working with these entrepreneurs as a teenager and being hired to work in their store or their restaurant, or, seeing a block change and be grown in a way that made the town better and didn't detract from anything. And now these business owners are in business 30, 50, 100 years later, some 100 plus. I live in a very old place in New Jersey. It's been established for a couple 100 years. So it's just so beautiful and so interesting to see how many businesses have thrived for so long. And me, my brain, my marketing brain, my branding brain goes immediately to thinking about what systems and strategies do they have in place that led them to not only exist this long, but to grow and evolve over this length of time? And what about their business or how they run their business? What do all of these businesses have in common here? And is this something that can be taught? And is this something that can be added to any kind of business in a way that's going to help fortify and allow them to keep growing and evolving? So stay tuned for that. I'm sure I'm going to get into it in another episode in the future, because I really do think there's a lot to be said about the tried and true ways of how things were done before the internet completely took over our lives and the way in which we do business. And I, for one, am just so thankful and feeling really blessed to be able to have access to this curtain pulling of the old, and it being very open to and friendly with the idea of bringing in a bit of the new to help keep the old around longer. And it's been really cool. So if you are a business owner and you aren't a member of your local chamber of commerce, give it a look. You may be surprised to see the demographics of the chamber. It may be a lot of older individuals that, have trouble with two-factor authentication, and maybe they need someone a little younger that's willing to come in and help to modernize. If you have a service like that and you already know how to do these things and you can do them with your eyes closed, makes even more sense for you to kind of, in essence, gift your time to the chamber and help them in this way. It's not only going to help the chamber, but it will help you. I think there's something really beautiful to be said about our talents being recognized by those that have other talents, and it being a really beautiful symbiotic system. And there were so many stories told at the induction ceremony of just over the years how so many businesses have worked together, how contractors have done renovations of restaurants, and how plumbers have, taken old derelict buildings and corners and remodeled them and made them their headquarters. And it's just, there's so much that goes into the underbelly of small town living, and to be a part of getting to know everyone and all the people that make it tick is just really exciting for me. And I cannot wait to kind of extrapolate further on what tips and what things I see happening within these heritage businesses that have been around for so long, so that we can help some other businesses and newer businesses adopt some of these practices so that everyone can grow, the town can benefit, the county can benefit, and we can all go on living in this beautiful place on our terms of freedom as business owners. What has happened beyond that? Tons on tons. It's been a really beautiful September and October. Been tons of beautiful weather to get outside and to be able to spend time with my husband and take our dog for some beautiful walks and just really get to enjoy the changing of season. It's rare that we have this time frame of weather. It's typically 90 degrees till November, it seems, these days, and then we get slammed right into 30-degree days. So it's been really cool to live. We live in a nature preserve, and we are surrounded by and do experience and see the changes of the season. So that for me has been really cleansing. It's got me onto what I promise is my final branding change for this podcast. I recognized that I was putting a little too much effort into picking a logo that probably should be a little bit more leaning towards my PR work, my systems and strategy work, rather than the podcast. It doesn't really exemplify for me the friendliness, the openness, the safe space, the seeing of others, the sharing of stories that are heartfelt. I want the logo to be representative of the respect that I want to give to those that are coming on my show to share their story, and those that are giving their time to listen to these episodes to, apply it to their life or take something from an interview that sparks an idea for them. That's literally the entire purpose of creating this podcast. And the current logo ain't cutting it. It's getting cut ASAP. I'm finalizing between two logos. So at the end of this very short catch-up episode, I would absolutely love if you would head over to my Instagram. I'm going to put a post there down to 2 logos. I'm leaning more towards one, but I don't want to say which one it is. I just want to see what you like and what you enjoy. And there are so many of you listening from so many different countries. We're up to 42 now, which literally blows my mind. I've only been to 2 countries in my whole life, so this is just fascinating that my words and my heart has reached 40 other countries. And I'm super grateful. I'm super thankful. It's so wild. And to have such a vast listenership in age just lights my ass up. Sorry, because some of you are 17. But the fact that some of you are 17, I see you. This is totally the podcast that I wish I could have listened to when I was younger, as a mature child just trying to figure out life. And I want to get a jump start on what is what, because I know there's a game at hand and I don't want to play it. I want to play my own game. And for those of you in the 70 plus category, holy moly, thank you. Thank you for trusting me to, listen to what I have to say. And thank you for giving me your time and your attention. And gosh, to everyone in between, I'm not going to cry, but I may cry. A lot of the things that we talk about on the show are things that you can experience at any age. And I say that because I started experiencing some of the feelings of what we discuss on the show when I was 12. And it was a really dark time growing up and not having anything to be able to listen to, like a podcast. Like, that didn't exist. I was born in 1985, so resources were limited, and your imagination or compartmentalization and like fending off some type of mental illness or deep depression from dealing with life and things like what I had to go through when I was 12 with my father's diagnosis. I would have loved a resource like this. So it means the world to me to have your time at whatever age you find yourself. And if you're here because you're in a space where you need a little hope, you want to feel like you believe in something again, or you want to believe in something again, namely yourself, and you aren't sure why it's so hard for you to, but you know that you no longer want to put yourself in a small space or keep yourself from living the life you deserve. And you know that you want to prioritize peace over sadness and avoidance. And if any of those things apply to you, then you found yourself in the right place. Hi, I'm Sarah, president of all of those things I just stated. And I've worked really hard over the last, we'll say I started my spiritual journey in 2010, but specifically the last 5.5 years have been really abrasive, we'll say, in the self-love and self-development department. And I just want to share what I've gone through. And I want to make it a little easier for you if you're going through it, to at least have someone you can say, I'm not alone, like they feel the same way as I do. A lot of my guests are also people that have been through some really tough things, and they've done their best to make the absolute greatest out of their life because of it. And I know you'll find inspiration in these stories and in the episodes that we have together in the solos on Sundays. And I want to thank you. It means so much to me. I cry every day happy tears about this show. And I'm so thankful that I took a chance on my dreams. And I put aside everything that I had done for the last 15 years work-wise. And I went for it. And I have made the absolute best out of it. And made it even bigger than I thought I could within such a short period of time. And I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful to my husband who has made this. Without him, it would not be possible. He is not only my producer, he is my engineer. He created the songs, all the commercials, every single thing you hear with your ears. He has edited and made into a beautiful, polished, professional track. And he also supports us while I do this. So I'm so thankful. And just know that by tuning in and listening, even for a few minutes, you are contributing to making my dream a reality. And I thank you for it. If there is someone you think you would like to hear on an episode of the show, I would love for you to share it with me. You can DM me or reach out to me via a number of ways, which are links in the show notes. And I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. And as always, make life rich.